Okay, try it.
And then I connected to the Wi-Fi, and then I logged in via VPN, and now it's working.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm launching it in a second. Please bear with me.
Yes, that's on the tablet.
Alright, so
Where's your mouse? Oh, you can. Yeah.
you find the actual scan that you were interested in,
Right.
then you
Cool.
click on View Results.
Awesome.
Okay.
The View Results vulnerability screen will give you the detailed information.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
5 items here, so
Oh,
if
of
you
course. No, thank you very much, guys. You're brilliant. Every time I call you, you're wonderful.
Okay.
So thank you. You really are. You help us all the time. So.
open this
And
pull-down
then we can
menu,
go ahead and close
Okay.
it.
click on Export.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Take care.
All the different fields are automatically selected, and it will export it in an Excel format. So I'm exporting it into an Excel
We're on
format.
a conference call. Is it anything urgent?
Quickly, I'm putting it here. I've got a directory structure created for this already.
Okay, I'll fix now.
All this
Okay, bye-bye.
AX PCI scan 2014-0604. Now my file has been saved. So my next step is I'm going to open up the file. So essentially I just locate the file.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Okay.
Sharing 2 applications with you because I've got same time messages popping up all the time, and what I don't want that to
Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
So this is the raw results, and if you look at the raw results, I'm just pressing Control arrow down. We get 366, Control arrow up.
Okay.
Again, not very useful. So this is what we can do. First, I'm going to highlight the first row, and on the Data tab, I click on Filter. Say I can filter on a particular thing.
Don't worry about it.
Okay? Or I can select multiple ones if I wanted to. It's totally up to you. So you can filter the raw data.
Okay.
But again, this is just showing every single entry. It doesn't give you a perspective. To get things into perspective, what you need to do is go into the Insert tab and insert pivot table. It automatically selects the entire table and puts it into a new worksheet, and that's what we want.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so I made a mistake because it didn't select the entire one. Now it selected the entire sheet. So this is my empty pivot table. Now here comes the couple of tricks that you want to do.
Okay.
The first trick is that you want to see only, because we're not interested in all the findings, we're interested only in the PCI findings. You want to see only PCI findings.
Okay.
So to do that, you can one single click on this PCI entry here, drop it into the report filter,
Okay.
and it'll show up here.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to do the same thing with the status.
Okay.
That allows me to open the pull-down menu and select PCI fail, because I'm only going to see PCI fail items here.
Okay.
On status, you see you have blank and approved. I'm going to click select multiple items and unselect approved.
Okay.
Means that I'm not going to see my approved appeals or disputes. I'm only seeing whatever I want to work on.
Okay.
Now, the way you can manipulate the pivot table is very simple. You can add things to the row and the values table. So what do I want to see? I want to see the vulnerability name. Again, drag and drop.
Okay.
Now it shows me all the vulnerability names.
Okay.
If I wanted to know how many of the computers are impacted by a particular vulnerability, I need to add something to the value. Now, another trick that I'm highly recommending. I'm going to grab a field that is common across the board, such as vulnerability code.
Okay.
Because we have those, every single row, as you can see it, every single row has a vulnerability code associated with. This is a vulnerability code right here.
Okay.
So going back to sheet 1, I'm going to grab vulnerability code, but I can grab description, remediation, or severity just as easily.
Okay.
I drop that in here.
Okay.
It tells me that, for example, the remote desktop man in the middle, I've got 12 items. That means 12 rows has the remote desktop man in the middle. So let's verify that, okay? I'm going to go in here and I'll just type remote desktop. It shows me 2 remote desktop entries. One is the man in the middle, but the other one is the other one. So I select remote desktop man in the middle. Click OK.
Okay.
You have that 12 entries. So I know that this is correct. But this is in a different order than I wanted to. It's in sequential order, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z.
Okay.
But I don't want to see it. I want to see the highest number up front. So what I do is this. I click on this pull down, click on more sort options, descending, open up, and count of vulnerability code.
Okay.
And when I click OK, I get 12 remote desktop men in the middle, 9 VNC. So now it is organized according to the numbers.
Okay.
Here's another little trick you want to use. Highlight the row labels, or this row number 4, which is blue, in your pivot table. Right-click, then left-click pivot table options. Every time you add a new column to the pivot table, it reorganizes it, and it's very annoying. So I want to uncheck auto-fit column with update. So now on, if I can set this column this wide or this wide, it's going to stay that way even if I add new data. And I want to add new data, of course, because I know that there are 12 computers impacted by remote desktop man in the middle, but which 12? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the IP, drag and drop the IP here. Now it shows me all the 12 IPs that are remote desktop man in the middle, all the 9 IPs. But it's really ugly, right?
Yeah.
Because I got one row with the actual vulnerability, then all the 9 underneath. So now this starts formatting. Go in here to the row labels, open up the pull-down menu, and click, and click Field Settings. And I'm going to do this for every single, so both the vulnerability and IP. I say, I don't want to see the subtotals. I don't want to see these 9s and 4s and whatnot. Then I go Layout and Print, and I click on Show Items in Tabular Form. Essentially, it means that all these IPs are going to be beside, not underneath that row label. Watch what's happening. What's it on the side, not underneath it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing for the IP. So I go Field Settings, None, Layout, Print, Show, and done.
Okay.
So now I can see all my vulnerabilities. I can see all these. But, of course, now it's showing me everything. It's just one IP, one IP, one IP. Not very useful. So here's the next trick. I highlight the first item. I can do this. You see, I can click on this little minus icon, and it's going to close it or collapse it.
Okay.
It's going to show me that there are 12. And I can do the same thing here. If you have a large spreadsheet, it's very time-consuming to do this all manually. So this is what I'm going to do. I just highlight this entry, right-click, and I'm going to expand collapse the entire field. And now it's going to show me everything that I'm supposed to see it. That's it. That's all it is. That's how you create a pivot table. We can create a pivot table in a similar way, but it's not organized by the number of the names of the vulnerabilities, but organized by the actual IP addresses. I want to see what are the different problems on one single IP. So I can do that in 2 ways. Either I can go back to sheet 0 and again go insert pivot table and create a new pivot table. Or, because I'm lazy, I can do it a different way. Just clear this filter here. What I can do is I can go into the sheet, right click on the sheet, and I'm going to copy it. So just create a copy to the end. Now it's created for me another sheet, sheet 1, 2. So I'm just going to rename it sheet 2. It doesn't really matter. It makes no difference. Oops, sorry. It makes no difference. It's better to see it this way. So that's my sheet 2. To keep it in order, I'm moving it here. So now I get 2 identical sheets. Sheet 1 and sheet 2 look totally alike. So I'm going to reorganize this pivot table. And what that means is that I know that I don't want to see by IP or by vulnerability name, but the other way around. So I just move this down. Look at what happened. Now it's organized, so it shows me the IP address and the problems on the IP address and so on and so forth. So it's very, very elegant, very, very quick. So again, I'm going to collapse the field. Going to do the sorting again. Now sometimes the sorting doesn't work properly, so I'm going to show you a little trick what to do. But now it worked. If it doesn't work, then typically what I do, I just remove the second field from from here, do the sorting, then just add the second field. But now it works. So I know that the biggest problem is 1012 10.10. If I can open it, it tells me exactly what are my problems. So this is how you manipulate pivot tables. Now let's assume that I want to add a new data column, okay? This is what I do. I just go back to my sheet 1. I want to deal with this. I know what the name of the problem, but I want to find out what is the description. So I just go back up here, click on description, drag it down between the vulnerability name and the IP, and click on it, field settings, none, layout, show in tabular form, okay. Now when I open this up, it shows me, this is my vulnerability description. See? When I open it up, it shows me all the IPs. When I close it down, it doesn't show me all the IPs. This, essentially, this entire section is one problem, remote desktop man in the middle. This is how I fix it, and these are the IPs that are impacted by it. Easy. If I want to see the remediation, how to fix the problem, I can just keep going. I'm going to drop in another field, remediation, go to field settings, none, layout print, tabular form, okay. And I can expand it. It shows me configure terminal services, utilize SSL for authentication, so on and so forth. This is how you do it. And just to be sure, I'm going to collapse the entire field, and I'm going to collapse the entire field here as well. So it's really easy to work with pivot tables, and now you can see everything you wanted to see. These are the two items. And if I don't want the description and the remediation fields, all I gotta do is just drop it back in here, remediation, drop it back here, and it's no longer there. It's no longer bothering me. I don't want to see it. I just want to see what the problem is. And if I wanted to do it in a different way, I can just go back into the sheets, and I can filter on vulnerability name, I can filter on target name or IP address. I can pick one IP. I want to see only this. And now it tells me what are the problems from this machine, 10.29. Easy. Very, very easy.
Cool.
And that concludes our lecture for today.
Thank you.
Anytime. It's all part of the job.